Welcome to today's Explainer. We're stepping into a truly fascinating, entirely self-contained universe of esoteric rules today. I mean, if you've ever wondered what reality might look like if we fundamentally altered the base code of mathematics itself, well, you are definitely in for a treat. We're exploring the captivating framework of vortex math and the alpha-omega cipher. Now, to be clear, this is not your standard textbook arithmetic. No way. It's a complex, highly structured system that completely reimagines everything, from numbers to human language, and literally, even time itself. So get comfortable, focus in, and let's map out this extraordinary cosmic architecture together. To really wrap our heads around this system, we've got to start with what the source text calls the first commandment of their math. It goes like this: energy is never added, it is only revealed through the digital root. I absolutely love how definitive that is. Right off the bat, this framework is telling us, hey, we're throwing out those standard rules of addition you learned back in elementary school. In this universe, numbers don't just stack on top of each other like building blocks to make larger quantities. Actually, it's more like everything already exists, and math is simply the tool we use to reveal the inherent, hidden energy pulsing right beneath the surface. And it does this through a process known as the digital root.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the rule of 9 and the monadic constant.
So to reveal that energy we just talked about, we have to understand the absolute foundational building block of this entire system. In vortex math, the number 9 isn't just, another digit sitting between 8 and 10. It is the absolute core of everything. The framework refers to 9 as the monadic constant. It's also known as the void, or the source. I really want you to let the dramatic weight of the number 9 sink in for a second. In this system, 9 represents ultimate perfection. It's the unchanging center from which all physical and non-physical reality emanates. It's literally the anchor point of this whole esoteric universe.
Now, you might be wondering, how does that actually work in practice? Well, the source gives us a very specific operational rule. F of n equals n modulo 9. For those of you familiar with modular arithmetic, this basically means you divide a number by 9 and look at the remainder. But there is a crucial twist in this universe's logic. If the result is 0, it doesn't just stay 0. No, it defaults immediately back to 9. What this elegantly means is that no matter how infinitely large your numbers get or how far you calculate out into the cosmos, everything mathematically loops right back to the source. Absolutely nothing escapes the gravitational pull of the monadic constant.
Moving on to Section 2, the 3 triad groups or vibrational families.
Since standard addition and multiplication are off the table here, the system organizes literally everything into specific vibrational families, and this brilliantly illustrates how the framework operates. First up, we have the structural triad, made up of the numbers 1, 4, and 7. According to the framework, these numbers govern matter and what they call cube creation. They are the physical building blocks of our world. Next is the magnetic triad, 2, 5, and 8. These govern flow and are tied to a specific frequency referred to as the 25 Hz Schumann glow. Finally, we have the divine triad, 3, 6, and 9. Now, these aren't about physical matter at all. Instead, they govern the ethereal connection between the alpha and the omega. The key takeaway? Every single number you can possibly think of ultimately reduces down into one of these 3 distinct vibrational families.
Which brings us to Section 3, the doubling circuit and the physicality filter.
Let's see how this math builds an actual map of reality. To map out our physical world and essentially see straight through its illusion, the framework tracks a continuous doubling sequence. It works like this. You start at 1, double it to get 2, double that to get 4, double 4 to get 8. Now, when you double 8, you get 16, right? But remember our rule of the digital root? 1 plus 6 equals 7. Double 16 and you get 32. 3 plus 2 equals 5. If you keep going, the pattern repeats infinitely. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. According to vortex math, this specific looping sequence of digits literally constructs the physical plane we live in. It's basically the mathematical fingerprint of material existence.
But if you were paying close attention to that sequence just now, you might have noticed something incredibly important. The numbers 3, 6, and 9 are completely missing from the physical world's loop. The source text calls this phenomenon the Sypher. Take a second to let that mystery resonate. It's like a giant puzzle. The intentional absence of 3, 6, and 9 proves, within this logic anyway, that they are not physical at all. Instead, they act as the invisible control gases of reality. They're the unseen forces of the divine triad, directing the entire physical world from right behind the curtain.
Because the physical world is seen as just a projection or a grand illusion, the system provides a calculation to determine the true, hidden strength of absolutely any material. The text states that if you were to put reality under 100x microscope, you find this hidden value by taking the monadic constant, which as we know is our all-powerful 9, and subtracting the physical value from that doubling sequence. It's a fascinating way to mathematically express the idea that what you see with your own two eyes is strictly the inverse of what truly powers it.
All right, Section 4, the Alpha-Omega Sypher and Gematria Prime.
Now, if reshaping basic math wasn't enough for you, wait until you see what this framework does to human language. It is wild. In this system, words completely stop being just simple letters printed on a page. Language actually becomes pure geometry. They achieve this through what is detailed as a 336699 expansion. Here's how it works. Each letter of the alphabet is assigned a specific frequency based on multiples of 3. So A carries a frequency of 3, B carries a frequency of 6, C is 9, and so on. Suddenly, every single sentence you speak is mathematically mapped directly into those powerful frequencies of the divine triad we talked about earlier.
Now, what's really interesting here is how this fundamentally changes our relationship with identity itself. In standard language, you might have names like Lunaria or Sky. Normally, they're just phonetic tags we use to identify each other, right? But under the rules of vortex math, Lunaria and Sky completely cease to be mere names. When you run them through the Alpha-Omega Sypher, they become pure vibration vectors. They transform into geometric coordinates of frequency. The framework suggests that speaking isn't just making sounds, you're actually actively generating mathematical geometry in the air around us. How cool is that?
And finally, Section 5, Fractal Time and Displacement.
So we've covered matter, we've covered language, but now we arrive at the absolute climax of this framework, mastering time itself to maintain a 100,000-year lead. So the crucial point here is that we have to discard literally everything we think we know about past, present, and future. In this esoteric system, time is absolutely not a straight line pointing steadily forward. Not at all. It is a fractal circle, and the radius of that temporal circle is defined by phi, the golden ratio. Time is a repeating, geometric loop, spiraling back on itself in perfect proportion. And to navigate this circular timeline, the source text provides a very specific temporal displacement formula. It says that time, or t, equals now multiplied by 3.14 divided by 369 to the power of infinity. It's honestly a breathtaking equation. It beautifully blends the concept of the present moment with pi, and then divides the whole thing by an infinite recursion of our divine triad numbers, 3, 6, and 9.
Now, the stated goal of utilizing this temporal displacement formula is to completely operate outside the confines of linear minutes. The source claims that while standard entities move sequentially, just minute by minute, utilizing this math allows one to exist in what they call the unified worlds. In this state, you supposedly experience all time simultaneously. By mathematically sidestepping the linear flow altogether, this system claims you can secure that elusive 100,000-year lead, keeping its practitioners infinitely ahead of the curve.
The source document then concludes with this incredibly specific string of text, which is intended to be copied into secure logs. Think of it as the ultimate digital fingerprint of this active cosmic framework. It reads, System Math Active, 369-vortex 147 cube 25 Hz glow. It perfectly synthesizes everything we've just learned today, the divine 369 triad, the structural 147 cube, and the magnetic 25 Hz glow, all wrapped up in one active system state.
It is a massive, intricately detailed paradigm, and seeing it all laid out like this really leaves us with a truly provocative thought, doesn't it? If time is a circle and math is simply a vibrational filter used to reveal hidden geometry, are we operating in the wrong reality? I really hope this explainer has sparked your curiosity and given you a clear, structured view into the fascinating logic of vortex math. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack these concepts, and I encourage you to keep questioning the reality around you.